March 12th, Joshua 5, 6, 7, and 8. Joshua 5. And it came to be, when all the sovereigns of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan westward, and all the sovereigns of the Canaanites who were by the sea, heard that Yah had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we had passed over, that their heart melted, and there was no spirit in them any longer, because of the children of Israel. At that time, Yah said to Joshua, "Make knives of flint for yourselves, and circumcise the sons of Israel again the second time." So Joshua made knives of flint for himself, and circumcised the sons of Israel at the hill of foreskins. And this is why Joshua circumcised them. All the people who came out of Mitzrayim, who were males, all the men of battle, had died in the wilderness on the way, after they had come out of Mitzrayim. For all the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people who were born in the wilderness on the way as they came out of Mitzrayim had not been circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the nation, the men of battle who came out of Mitzrayim, were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of Yah, to whom Yah swore not to show them the land which Yah had sworn to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. And Joshua circumcised their sons, whom he raised up in their place, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not been circumcised on the way. And it came to be, when they had completed circumcising all the nation, that they stayed in their places in the camp till they were healed. And Yah said to Joshua, "Today I have rolled away the reproach of Mitzrayim from you." So the name of the place is called Gilgal to this day. And the children of Israel camped in Gilgal, and performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the new moon at the evening on the desert plains of Jericho. And they ate of the stored grain of the land on the morrow after the Pesach, unleavened bread and roasted grain on this same day. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the stored grain of the land. And the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to be, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked, and saw a man standing opposite him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, "Are you for us, or for our adversaries?" And he said, "No, for I have now come as captain of the host of Yah." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did obeisance, and said to him, "What is my master saying to his servant?" And the captain of the host of Yah said to Joshua, "Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is set apart." And Joshua did so. Joshua 6. And Jericho was shut up tight because of the presence of the sons of Israel, none going out and none coming in. And Yah said to Joshua, "See, I have given Jericho and its sovereign, the mighty brave men, into your hand. And you shall go around the city, all the men in battle, going around the city once. Do this for 6 days. And let 7 priests bear 7 shofrot of the Yobalim before the ark. And on the 7th day, go around the city 7 times, while the priests blow the shofrot. And it shall be, when they make a long blast with the horn of a Yovel, I think. And when you hear the voice of the shofar, that all the people shout with a great sound, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him." I'm not sure if this counts as a commentary or not, but I remember hearing quite a while ago, they found a city that they thought might have been Jericho, and they were puzzled that they couldn't find any remnants of a wall. So they thought maybe it had been taken away and used for other construction projects, because that was fairly common. Why cut new stones when you have perfectly good stones? But they kept digging down, and again, I don't remember the details or if anything's changed since. It's had to be 20 years ago. But they kept digging down, and supposedly they found the wall intact, all one piece, but it was below the city, as far as elevation wise. It wasn't underneath. The city wasn't built on top of it. It was still around the city, but it was almost like it got pushed down. And it says here, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him. You can't march into a city if you're climbing over the rubble of a wall. So I remember thinking that was pretty cool, that Yah had just pushed the wall down into the ground so they could just walk right in. If that, again, this was a long time ago, I don't remember. I haven't heard any updates or anything, but that's kind of neat. Anyways, sorry. Verse 6. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, called the priests and said to them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 shofrot of Yovelim before the ark of Yah. And he said to the people, pass over and go around the city, and let him who is armed pass over before the ark of Yah. And it came to be, when Yehoshua had spoken to the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 shofrot of the Yovelim before Yah passed over and blew the shofrot, and the ark of the covenant of Yah went after them. And the armed men went before the priests who blew the shofrot, and the rear guard came after the ark, going on and blowing with the shofrot. But Yehoshua commanded the people, saying, do not make a sound or cause your voice to be heard, nor let any word come out of your mouth until the day I say to you, shout. Then you shall shout. And the ark of Yah went around the city, going around once, and then they came into the camp and stayed in the camp. No idea what it did there, but I fixed it. Sorry. I need coffee. And they came into the camp and stayed in the camp. And Yehoshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of Yah. And 7 priests bearing 7 shofrot of the Yovelim went, and 7 priests bearing the 7 shofrot of the Yovelim before the ark were walking, going on, and they blew with the shofrot. And the armed men went before them, but the rear guard came after the ark of Yah, going on and blowing with the shofrot. And on the 2nd day they went around the city once and returned to camp. Thus they did 6 days. And it came to be on the 7th day that they rose early, about the dawning of the day, and went around the city 7 times in this way. Only on that day they went around the city 7 times. And it came to be at the 7th time, when the priests blew with the shofrot, that Yehoshua said to the people, shout, for Yah has given you the city. And the city shall be put under the ban. It and all that is in it belongs to Yah. Only Rahab the whore is to live, she and all who were with her in her house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And you, by all means, guard yourselves from that which is under the ban, lest you come under the ban when you take of what is under the ban, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and shall trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of bronze and iron are set apart to Yah. They go into the treasury of Yah. And the people shouted when the priests blew the shofrot. And it came to be, when the people heard the voice of the shofar, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat. And the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they captured the city. And they put under the ban all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and donkey with the edge of the sword. And the two men who had spied out the land of Yahushua said, Go into the house of the woman, the whore, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, as you swore her. And the young men, the spies, went in and brought out Rahab, and her father, and her mother, and her brothers, and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives, and set them outside the camp of Israel. And they burned the city, and all that was in it, with fire. Only the silver and gold, and the vessels of bronze and iron, they put into the treasury of the house of Yah. However, Yahushua kept alive Rahab the whore, and her father's household, and all that she had, and she dwelt in the midst of Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Yahushua sent to spy out Jericho. And Yahushua warned them at that time, saying, Cursed is the man before Yah who rises up and builds this city Jericho. He lays its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he sets up its gates. And Yah was with Yahushua, and a report about him was in all the land. Joshua 7. But the children of Israel committed a trespass regarding that which is under the ban. For Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zebdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took that which is under the ban, and the displeasure of Yah burned against the children of Israel. Now Yahushua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth Awen, on the east side of Bethel, and spoke to them, saying, Go up and spy out the land. And the men went up and spied out Ai. And they returned to Yahushua and said to him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 200 or 300 men go up and strike Ai. Do not make all the people toil up there, for the people of Ai are few. And about 3,000 men went up there from the people, but they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai struck about 36 men, for they pursued them from before the gate, as far as Shebarim, and smote them on the descent. So the hearts of the people melted, and became like water. And Yahushua tore his garments, and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of Yah, until evening, both he and the elders of Israel, and they put dust on their heads. And Yahushua said, O Master Yah, why have you brought this people over the Yarden at all, to give us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay beyond the Yarden. O Yah, what do I say when Israel turns its back before its enemies, and the Canaanites, and all the inhabitants of the land here, and shall surround us, and cut off our name from the earth? What then do you do for your great name? And Yah said to Yahushua, Rise up, why are you lying on your face? Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. And they have even taken some of what is under the ban, and have both stolen and deceived, and also put it among their own goods. And the sons of Israel shall not be able to stand before their enemies. They are going to turn their backs before their enemies, for they have become accursed. I am not with you any more, unless you destroy that which is under the ban from your midst. Rise up, set the people apart, and you shall say, Set yourselves apart for tomorrow, because thus said Yah, Elohim of Israel, that which is under the ban is in your midst, O Israel. You are not able to stand before your enemies until you put away that which is under the ban out of your midst. And you shall be brought near in the morning according to your tribes, and it shall be, the tribe which Yah takes comes according to clans, and the tribe which Yah takes comes by households, and the household which Yah takes comes by men. And it shall be that he who has taken with that which is under the ban is burned with fire, and he and all that he has, because he has transgressed the covenant of Yah. and because he has committed wickedness in Israel. So Yahushua arose early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes, and the tribe of Yehuda was taken. And he brought the clan of Yehuda, and he took the clan of the Urihites, and he brought the clan of the Urihites by men, and Zabdi was taken. And he brought his household by men. Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehuda, was taken. And Yahushua said to Achan, my son, now give esteem to Yah, Elohim of Israel, and make confession to him. Please declare to me what you have done, and do not hide it from me. So Achan answered Yahushua and said, truly I have sinned against Yah, Elohim of Israel, and this is what I did. When I saw among the spoil a lovely garment from Shinar, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. And see, they are hidden in the ground in the midst of my tent, with the silver under it. And Yahushua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and see, it was hidden in his tent, with the silver under it. And they took them from the midst of the tent, and brought them to Yahushua, and to all the children of Israel, and laid them out before Yah. Then Yahushua and all Israel with him took Achan, son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his donkeys, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and he brought them to the valley of Achor. And Yahushua said, why have you troubled us? Yah does trouble you today. Then all Israel stoned him with stones, and they burned them with fire, after they had stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones, which remains to this day. Then Yah turned from the fierceness of his displeasure. Therefore the name of that place has been called the Valley of Achor to this day. Joshua 8. And Yahushua said to and Yah said to Yahushua, do not be afraid, nor be discouraged. Take all the soldiers with you, and arise, go up to Ai. See, I have given into your hand the sovereign of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. And you shall do to Ai and its sovereign as you did to Jericho and its sovereign. Only its spoil and its livestock do you take as plunder for yourselves. Set for yourselves an ambush for the city behind it. And Yahushua and all the soldiers rose up to go to Ai. And Yahushua chose 30,000 mighty brave men, and sent them away by night, and commanded them, saying, see, you are going to lie in ambush against the city, behind the city. Do not go very far from the city, but all of you shall be prepared, while I and all the people who are with me approach the city. And it shall be, when they come out against us, as formerly, that we shall flee before them, and they shall come out after us, till we have drawn them from the city, as though saying, they are fleeing before us as formerly, and we shall flee before them. Then you shall arise from the ambush, and seize the city, and Yah your Elohim shall give it into your hand. And it shall be, when you capture the city, that you burn the city with fire. Do according to the word of Yah. See, I have commanded you. And Yahushua sent them out, and they went to lie in ambush, and stayed between Bethel and Ai, on the westward side of Ai. But Yahushua stayed that night in the midst of the people. And Yahushua rose up early in the morning, and inspected the people, and went up, he and the elders of Israel, before the people to Ai. And all the soldiers who were with him went up and drew near, and came before the city, and camped on the north side of Ai, with the valley between them and Ai. And he took about 5,000 men, and set them in ambush between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of the city. So they stationed the people, all the army that was on the north of the city, and its rear guard on the west of the city. And Yahushua went that night into the midst of the valley. And it came to be, when the sovereign of Ai saw it, that the men of the city hastened, and rose up early, and went out against Israel to battle, he and all his people, at an appointed place before the desert plain. But he did not know that there was an ambush against him behind the city. And Joshua and all Israel let themselves be beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. And all the people who were in Ai were called together to pursue them, and they pursued Joshua and were drawn away from the city. So there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not go out after Israel, and they left the city open and pursued Israel. And Yah said to Joshua, "Stretch out the spear that is in your hand towards Ai, for I give it into your hand." And Joshua stretched out the spear that he had in his hand toward the city. And the ambush rose up quickly from their place, and they ran at the stretching out of his hand, and entered the city and took it, and hastened to burn the city with fire. And the men of Ai looked behind them, and saw the smoke of the city rising to the heavens. And there was no power in them to flee this way or that way, for the people who had fled to the wilderness had turned back on the pursuers. For when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had captured the city, and that the smoke of the city went up, they turned back and struck the men of Ai. The others also came out of the city against them, so they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side and some on that side, and they struck them until none were left, none had escaped. But the sovereign of Ai they caught alive, and brought him to Joshua. And it came to be, when Israel ended killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness where they had pursued them, and when they had fallen by the edge of the sword until they were consumed, that all Israel returned to Ai, and struck it with the edge of the sword. And it came to be, that all who fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, all men of Ai. And Joshua did not draw back his hand, with which he stretched out the spear, until he had put all the inhabitants of Ai under the ban. Only the livestock and the spoil of that city Israel took as booty for themselves, according to the word of Yah, which he had commanded Joshua. And Joshua burned Ai, and made it a heap forever, a ruin to this day. And he hanged the sovereign Ai on a tree until evening. And at sunset Joshua commanded that they should take his corpse down from the tree, and throw it at the entrance of the gate of the city, and raise over it a great heap of stones to this day. And Joshua built a slaughter place to Yah Elohim of Israel in Mount Ibel, as Moshe, the servant of Yah, had commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the Torah of Moshe, a slaughter place of unhewn stones, over which no man has welded iron. And they offered on it ascending offerings to Yah, and slaughtered peace offerings. And there, in the presence of the children of Israel, he wrote on the stones a copy of the Torah of Moshe, which he had written. And all Israel, the sojourner as well as the native, with their elders and officers and judges, stood on either side of the ark, before the priests, the Levites, who bore the ark of the covenant of Yah. Half of them were in front of Mount Gerizim, and half of them in front of Mount Ebal, as Moshe, the servant of Yah, had commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. And afterward he read all the books of the Torah, the blessings and the cursings, according to all that is written in the book of the Torah. There was not a word of all that Moshe had commanded which Joshua did not read before all the assembly of Israel, with the women and the little ones and the sojourners who accompanied them.